What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Santa Cruz Medicinals Radio, coming at you from the studio. It's been a really fun week, man. A little south swell came in, so the waves are good. So we've just been surfing a lot. Like now the routine has been I show up here, I go surf with the whole crew. My videographer is sitting right there. My other buddy Joe, Austin the Marine, we just go surf in the morning. Get back and then we just get to work, dude. And it's a really good way to start the day. Honestly, man, like sometimes with those morning surfs, I don't like eating a lot. So what I'd recommend if you're somebody that has to do like a morning workout and you don't like that feeling of being heavy, what's worked for me is waking up, hitting some electrolytes first thing when I wake up. So getting my minerals all dialed in and rehydrating. And then I like to have some bone broth. Bone broth does have some protein in there, but it doesn't feel as heavy for me. So I heat up some bone broth, might put a little bit of butter in there and some salt, so I'm getting some fats. And then I just have a little bit of raw milk and coffee. That's it. A little splash of cold brew, a little splash of raw milk. And that's what I've been doing in the mornings for those morning surfs. Sometimes right before I paddle out, if I know it's going to be a bigger day, I'll have some honey or an apple, maybe a little sip of orange juice for some quick carbohydrates. And yeah, that's what I've been rocking with pre-surf. What's really exciting is we have these influencers coming into town soon. Pow Envy, Colin Myers, Yeast Sloth, and Vex Bolts are all flying in. I got them all plane tickets. And they're going to come out here and lock in. They want to lock in. They want to work out. They want to eat well. They want to learn about health. And they want to just kind of live a couple days in the life of me. And how I live is I work out like a savage almost every day. Obviously, when we have them here, we're going to really go hard. And I'm worried about some of them, man. I got to be real. Pow Envy, I've made some videos on him, which you've probably seen. A bit worried about that guy. Vex Bolts, I really want him to lock in, dude. Like, his stats are crazy. He's like, I think he's 6'2", 250, he says. That's like really, like, that's like solid. Like, you should be solid. But he's not a good 250, okay? So we need to bring him down to like 6'2", 215 with some muscle on him, get his diet right, get all that, and I think he'll be super dialed in. Colin Myers and Yeast Sloth look, like Colin Myers has been like locking in, bro. Like he seems dialed in, but we'll see what's going on with him. Yeast Sloth has some issues, he says, with his cardio, which is going to be a problem because we're going to have him do some hill sprints, do some, cardiovascular endurance activities. So we'll see how dialed in they all really are when they get down here. And let me know who else you want me to get down here. We will do an episode with fans. I'm not just going to do influencers. It will be a lot of influencers that I'm getting down here, getting them in shape. This is how it goes. Like when you have a big following, it helps me to film with them and meet these people. But I do want to get fans out here, so make your case below. And yeah, that's kind of what's been cracking. We did a meetup in San Diego, dude. I had over 400 people come out to the meetup. It was insane, just meeting all of you guys, saying hi, sipping some electrolytes. We had like an electrolyte mocktail bartender guy, so obviously no alcohol. He just had like sparkling water, like mango mojito was probably my favorite one. He did this like lychee basil one, which was really good. He did like a lemonade lavender one that was really delicious, so that was cool. But yeah, just saying hi to all you guys. It's so crazy. We're forever thankful, forever grateful for you guys coming out and just supporting the brand, helping us make the world healthier, legit. Oh my God, and like recently, I mean, this will probably come out in a few days, but it's probably been like a week or two if you're watching this since it happened, but we saw Trump almost got hit. I'll just say that. That was crazy, dude. We had some buddies over here. We just got back from like surfing, and it was like we just turned that on the TV. It was insane. And for anybody out there like celebrating that, you can kick rocks. In all honesty, if you're somebody that celebrates that or makes jokes about that, you can kick rocks and just like leave the channel. If you know about history, if you just have a good knowledge of what's going on in the world, you don't want that to happen, whether you support the person or not. This is the United States of America. It should be decided at the polls. It should be decided by the voters. It shouldn't be decided by violence. And if you like that, then you just don't know history and you're just not informed, and that's okay. Me personally, I'm kind of an RFK guy, but I really don't like Biden. I think Biden is going off the rails. It's just not good for our country to have other people that we did not vote in running the country, because that's what's going on right now. Let's be real. Who's running the country? Is it Barack Obama? Is it, Kamala Harris? I don't know, but we didn't vote for them to be president, right? The country did not vote for them to be president. So it's sad to see what's happening. I really think people need to come together. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. I'm not going to get very political on the show, but health is political, guys. Some of these candidates are talking about all the health issues we have. RFK and Trump specifically have talked about the health issues that we've had. The vice president that Trump just chose to be his VP is anti-seed oils, is what I've heard. I've seen evidence of that. He said before that he cooks with ghee because his wife is South Asian and he doesn't use seed oils. I think that's cool. I think it's cool to at least have somebody up there who recognizes, hey, heavily processed foods might be dangerous. We might need to look into them. That'll be really interesting to see how this all pans out. We know RFK is very, you could say anti-big pharma, just overall. And again, I'm not anti-big pharma. I just think we really need to question why, 1 in 10 kids is prescribed ADHD meds. Why is 1 in 4 Americans prescribed an antidepressant or antipsychotic medication? Why? Is that really the numbers? We need to look into that. So let me know if you agree on that, but I do not think the Biden cabinet is really looking into that. So we'll see what happens there. It's going to be crazy. Just keep your peace, keep your truth. If you don't care about politics, that's totally fine and totally valid. But let's get into some of your questions. You've left them below. I'm here to answer them. Let's go. Brendan, what are the new electrolyte flavors in production? The new electrolytes in the works. Okay, so obviously we get all these requests to do a pineapple, do a watermelon, and we're trying. However, we use natural flavors, and it's tough sometimes to get that. Let me explain this to you. Watermelon, guys. When you bite into a watermelon, think about what it actually tastes like, not a candy watermelon thing. A watermelon kind of tastes like watery in a weird way. It tastes delicious, in my opinion, but using natural flavors, it's not always as simple as just, we can just do a watermelon like that. Now, what we have on the radar, prickly pear is one, and it's probably everybody at the house knows what I'm talking about right now because we've all tried these prickly pear samples. They're absolutely amazing. It's just like this cactus, tropical, sweet finish, amazing flavor. The other flavor that we have on the radar is honeydew melon. It's so good. It tastes like honeydew melon. Nice, sweet, light, just like gorgeous honeydew melon, sort of a little bit of a sour aftertaste. Amazing. And the other flavor we have is starfruit. Now, starfruit's an amazing fruit. If you have it pop up right here, starfruit looks like a star. It's beautiful. This one's going to be like citrus forward, nice, bright flavor. Definitely a little bit of sweetness, but more of that like pomelo, tangerine vibe with the starfruit. So those are the 3 we're working on right now. We're also working on something that has no flavor at all, which is electrolyte capsules. So for the electrolyte capsules, or why I wanted to do that, is some people don't want any flavor at all. Some people want the portability of the electrolyte capsules, and I'm all about that. So I want to have that option for you. So we will have electrolyte capsules as well. The peach and the lychee, the new flavors right now, are going crazy. Lychee is a nice, bright, bold tropical flavor. If you don't like lychee, or you have no idea what lychee is, or you might not like it, then go with a classic flavor. The classic flavors, I say, mango, lemon lime, orange. These are just classics, dude. Like, what you're getting into when you try one of those. Lemonade, I would put up there for sure. So, yeah, and then let me know below what flavors you want to see. We're definitely working on a pineapple, definitely working on a watermelon. It's just a bit difficult. But let me know any flavors you want to see. For whey protein as well, we're working on some new whey protein flavors. I want to do maybe like a hazelnut chocolate. Samoa cookie was on the radar, like a caramel cookie. Cookies and cream was also on the radar, and how we can basically do that is sort of getting some of that vanilla flavor with some of that cacao, like some of that chocolate in there. And if you get it just right, it does give that like cookies and cream. I'd love to do more flavors with real fruit in there, so maybe doing a banana or something with like real dehydrated bananas in there. That could be really cool. Blueberry, we tried to do like just a blueberry, so we got samples of that made, and it just wasn't it. You know what I mean? I mean, you can imagine just blueberry. So then we go, okay, we might need to do like a blueberries and cream type thing, like bring out some of those more like pastry type flavors with the vanilla, with the sweetness, and still throwing blueberries in there as well. So a lot of stuff on the radar. The Sun Balm has been selling like crazy. The beef tallow, beeswax, honey balm is probably back in stock while you're watching this. The thing with that, guys, is we just put these big new machines for beef tallow into our factory. We were just selling out of the beef tallow skincare products. And, again, I'm not trying to like toot our own horn too much, but I will. When this happens to a lot of companies, they usually raise their prices for one, because if something's selling out with velocity like that quick, as you guys know if you're watching this, how quick some of our stuff, like the beef tallow products, sell out, you're supposed to raise your price. And the beef tallow skincare game has blown up a lot. There's tons of companies doing it. Most companies are selling like a non-nano zinc beef tallow sun product for $34 to $40. We sell ours for $19.99. Okay, and we don't cut it with olive oil or coconut oil because that makes it more affordable only to the manufacturer. If you want a beef tallow skincare product, I think you should get beef tallow, right? If I'm just putting a little bit of beef tallow and a bunch of olive oil, is that what I'm doing with a beef tallow skincare product? That seems sort of sketchy to me. Not against olive oil, not against coconut oil, but I'm selling you beef tallow, right? Like, this isn't like, what kind of game are we playing? So we sell our beef tallow skincare products extremely affordably. That's why they sell out. And now the quality has just gone up. So if you've gotten these in the past and maybe you're like, oh, there's like a little smell to it, the texture, we've improved all that. Tons with these new machines. We're really stoked on it, and hopefully they won't go out of stock as much. Long-winded answer. Damn, that was one question. Let's get into the next question. Brendan, does olive oil turn into a seed oil when heated over 350 degrees? The short answer is no. Now, there are some fatty acids in olive oil, which basically can be similar to a seed oil. You're looking at some of those saturated fats in there. The answer is no. And we actually see some interesting studies on olive oil when exposed to heat, right? Most people have heard, oh, you should never cook with olive oil at high heat because it's just going to oxidize, break down, and it's bad. It doesn't last at high heat. Now, when you look at some of those studies, they really were, and you're talking olive oil at very high heat for like 15 minutes, okay? There are other studies showing that the polyphenol content of the olive oil prevents some of that oxidation. So if you're getting a real olive oil with a good high polyphenol content, that's going to prevent some of that oxidation. And I'm not opposed to using olive oil at medium to high heat. I wouldn't fry in it, of course, and I wouldn't cook with it at extremely high heat for very long periods of time. But if you want to just sear some beef in there or cook some veggies in there at a decently high heat, I think it's totally fine. Not only that, but when you hear about heterocyclic amines and some of these burnt portions of meat, oh, the burnt portion of meat are going to kill you. I just did a post detailing some of the studies that are out there. What did the study show? Traditional ways of marinating and spicing and salting meat help prevent those heterocyclic amine formations. So we look at marinades with olive oil, citrus, spices, helping prevent some of those heterocyclic amine formations. So our ancestors knew what's up. They put their meat in spices and different types of marinades and different types of rubs, and then, yes, this provides protection. So very interesting stuff. Big fan of olive oil still. Brendan, what is the best sunscreen for face and body? So if you just listen to Huberman do about a 2-hour dive deep into sunscreen, all things sunscreen, he came to the conclusion that I also have come to years ago. You want to use a sun protection that has non-nano zinc oxide. Okay? Now let's break this down. There's 2 types of sun protection: chemical and mineral. Okay, mineral, they're going to put zinc oxide or non-nano zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, and then chemical, they're going to put oxybenzone, avobenzone, homosalate, stuff like that, octocrylene. Okay, there's these different chemical-based sunscreens, these UV filters. The mineral-based ones are a UV block, so you apply these to your skin, and it actually reflects the UV rays off. Okay, so it provides some protection, and this is why you see the ones that are really protective, I guess you could say, do leave like a white cast, okay? So that's going to reflect the sun. Now, the chemical-based ones actually absorb the UV rays and disperse those UV rays as heat in the body. Now, there are some concerns about chemical-based sunscreens, possibly being disruptive to your endocrine or hormone system, possibly being disruptive to your immune system, and there's great concern about what they do to our marine life. We were just surfing today, dude, and a pod of 6 dolphins was 8 feet away from us. We heard them breathing. It was amazing. Any surfer knows what I'm talking about. Now, the idea, and this isn't just a theoretical idea, there are papers on this. Hawaii, Alaska, and Florida have banned chemical sunscreens because of the research that shows that those chemicals, oxybenzone, avobenzone, can leach into the ocean and severely damage our marine life and our reefs. So how would I feel as somebody who's surfing if I'm just soaking off oxybenzone and all these chemicals and the dolphins are absorbing that? Probably not good, okay? So the option is clear. This isn't some conspiracy against sunscreen, guys. They sell mineral-based sunscreen everywhere. Walmart, Target, Costco. This isn't some new thing, and this isn't even something to disagree with dermatology, modern-day dermatology. I think you should protect yourself against the sun. You can do it by wearing a hat, wearing layers, or using a mineral-based sun protection screen, and rubbing that on you. Now, some of the big brands that use non-nano zinc oxide have horrible other ingredients, so you might want to watch out for that. Find something with beef tallow, non-nano zinc. That's what I use. It's up to you if you want to use chemical-based sunscreens, but I just know firmly in 5 to 10 years we will find out that those have negative health effects, and you can just use a mineral-based one. Brendan, should I fear insulin spikes by eating fruit? So they're probably eating a similar diet to me, and maybe they're eating some fruit, and they're worried about this insulin spike. And sometimes you'll see people on social media say, oh my God, hey, when you eat fruit, your insulin is going to spike, and that's really bad for you. No, yeah, absolutely not. You shouldn't fear that. So insulin is a hormone that's released to basically help our body stabilize blood sugar and the amount of blood glucose going into our muscles, into our brain. Blood glucose is used in a variety of things just when we're moving about life, okay? Insulin is going to be released when you ingest any type of carbohydrate, any type of sugar. It's not a bad thing. Okay, so I'm speaking to everyone right now that has a normal metabolism, they don't have diabetes, okay? When you eat fruit, if you're an active person, yes, your insulin will rise. This is not a bad thing. This is completely normal, okay? If you are going to do a workout or even just work, like right now, my brain is using glucose, okay? And then it gets into this thing of, well, why shouldn't I just have a bunch of sugar then? And you can eat sugar and your body will use it for sure. In my opinion, having a bunch of processed sugar is not really the way to go about this. Why? Number one, fruit, while it does contain sugar, also has fiber, polyphenols, antioxidants, tons of stuff that not only helps blunt this blood glucose response a bit from the fiber, but it also just benefits our body getting more vitamins, minerals, electrolytes in that fruit, embedded in that fruit, okay? Two, this is theoretical, but I think large amounts of ingestion of processed sugar damage the gut microbiome. I think that could lead to small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. I think that could lead to gut issues. That's just theory. That's just Brendan's random idea, okay? So who knows on that? And also things like honey even. So instead of doing some sugar pre-workout, I would rather do something like honey. Why? Honey has prebiotics, enzymes. There's studies on honey helping with allergies. Honey is a functional food, okay? So that is why I prefer to have those things. The overall answer, though, is no. If you are in decent shape, you don't need to worry about these insulin rises when you eat carbohydrates or fruit. It's not going to be a problem. Brendan, could you make a gel, like a running gel, like a gel pack? We see all these gel packs out there, and most of them, let's be real, have horrible ingredients. I think if we were to do that, it would be something with honey, as I just discussed, and probably a bunch of electrolytes. But honestly, the most dialed-in thing for endurance athletes is to put electrolytes into water and then either have some honey, or you can look into stuff like D-ribose, which, yes, it is a sugar, but for endurance athletes, stuff like that, they might want to look into things like that, but maybe someday. Brendan, if you had asthma, what would you do? Okay, so if I had asthma, I know obviously I'm not talking some severe thing where you're completely swelled up and you just can't breathe at all, but a lot of people have slight asthma. So here's what I would do if I had asthma. One, I'd be taking N-acetylcysteine. When we look at asthma, we see that mucosal layer getting a bit inflamed. N-acetylcysteine has been shown to help tons with that sort of mucosal layer, just breaking that down, okay? So N-acetylcysteine. Now, if you take too much N-acetylcysteine, for many people, that's going to be 2 to 3 grams per day. You might get very dry nasal passages. That's a side effect of taking way too much. But for me, I take about a gram to 1.5 grams of N-acetylcysteine every single day. I don't have asthma, but I do that for lung health, respiratory support, which you'll commonly see N-acetylcysteine marketed as. I would also pair this with quercetin. Quercetin can help a lot of people with that histamine response that comes with allergies. So if you're getting asthma with dust and pollen and stuff like that, that can be an interesting thing to look at, along with maybe some stinging nettle root and some vitamin C. So those are all things I'd be taking. I would definitely be getting in the sauna. And if you have access, man, I know this is probably maybe not something you could do, but maybe you could do another thing I'll tell you. Get in the ocean. Man, dude, we were just in the ocean surfing some 5 to 6 foot waves. Nothing clears out your sinuses more than getting blasted with salt water, dude. It's insane. You'll just be leaking from your nose the 30, 40 minutes after you surf. It just clears out your whole system. But obviously, if you can't do that, what you want to do is take a neti pot, get some warm water, not hot, not scalding hot, just warm water, pretty warm. Reverse osmosis water, put a big amount of salt in there, mix it up so the salt is fully dissolved, and then use the neti pot like you're supposed to use a neti pot. You tilt to one side, you put it in, boom, and it drains drains, okay? That's really going to help to clear out your sinuses. I would have probably a humidifier in my room, and I know humidifiers can be an issue with mold and stuff, but I would put a small humidifier next to my bed because that can help with asthma. I would tape my mouth shut at night. Those are some things that I would do. I'd try to keep my overall inflammation down. I'd be going to the getting lab tests, getting organic acids tests, getting for sure my inflammatory biomarkers checked, my C-reactive protein checked. Asthma can be involved in inflammatory pathways. So if my C-reactive protein is really high, well, I might want to look into that, see what's causing that. Hope that helps you if you have asthma. That's what I would do. Brendan, what are your thoughts on one meal per day? Okay, OMAD. These people just eating once per day. I'm just going to eat once per day, okay? That's going to dial me in. Well, the answer is sort of. It might. Listen, as human beings, as Homo sapiens, we evolved being able to eat on very different schedules, okay? Your ancestors were not eating 3 square meals per day, all right? Now, I think the body does very well doing that. There's no issues with that. The simple truth is we are extremely adaptable. I could probably go and eat 5 times per week, okay? And if I really paid attention to what I was getting during those meals and it was more of a feeding window than a meal, I could probably have perfect health doing that, okay? There's so many different things you can do. Let's be real, guys. The reason 1 meal a day works for weight loss is because you're going into a calorie deficit. That is why the human body loses weight. 1 meal a day can be a really good way to do that, and for a lot of people, it can help them not snack and binge and pay way more attention to what they eat. What I do worry about with 1 meal a day long term is nutrient deficiencies. When we see creators like Sills, I got to give a shout out to Sills, do these micronutrient breakdowns of what people eat in a day. And I've done them myself. I've entered everything I've eaten in a day in a chronometer and seen the minerals, the vitamins, the nutrients, everything. It actually is sort of difficult in many ways to hit everything. Now, I pay a lot of attention to my diet. I do a good job, but man, you would really have to be dialed in with that meal, and it would have to be more of a feeding window than a meal. So, totally fine to do that, but I wouldn't really recommend it. Brendan, how would you convince a vegan to start eating meat, basically, to start eating the Santa Cruz Medicinals diet and level up their health? Okay, well, here's what I would say. First of all, what are you eating? You're probably eating vegetables, grains. You have to be eating some food, right? Well, you are also responsible for the death of animals. And if you don't believe me, there's tons of information on this. How do you think they farm soy? How do you think they farm vegetables? They kill rabbits. They kill mice. They displace bird species. They displace whole species of foxes. I saw a report that these big farms in Salinas were displacing tons of coyote species. They were just ruining the environment and killing animals. Sometimes they'll even run these big tractors and big machines into these fields where vegetables are farmed. And there's literally people who, in the past, before they had these high-tech ones, would have to go in there and take out rabbits, mice, frogs, squirrels, dead rodents, basically, from the tractor because they kill so many of them. So you're not innocent, okay? Listen, one butchered cow, if you go to like something like perennial pastures, okay, and you buy a full butchered cow, that's going to give you hundreds and hundreds of pounds of meat. And it's difficult to eat over a pound of meat in a day, okay? So you're going to have enough meat for a year based on the loss of one animal. And that animal was a vegan if it was a grass-fed cow, okay? So that's just sort of what I'd say. There's really no convincing many vegans, so I don't really waste my time trying to do it. You could look into the nutrient profile of red meat. Carnitine, creatine, anserine, things that make you feel alive, things that make you feel just vigor and amazing. We've seen the millions of reports of people that are vegan and then they switch back to eating egg yolks, some red meat, and just the life comes back to them. They feel healthier, their hair stops falling out. Look, there's nothing you can do to outrun your biology. When I was studying medical anthropology at UC Santa Cruz, I'm sorry, these are just facts that I'm about to tell you. One of our first foods was bone marrow, okay? Yours. So if you're vegan and you're watching this, your ancestors hunted down large game and ate it. And that's the reason you are here today. Now, the vegans would say, well, that's great, but I don't have to do that today. The problem is there's something called evolution, okay? And we can't outrun it. If for hundreds of thousands of years we lived as hunter-gatherers, it set up biological reward systems deep into our body, into our DNA, that you can't outrun. And this is why our bodies probably crave meat, fish, eggs, dairy, these foods. It's why your body enjoys sitting by a fire at night. Why? You know you're going to be warm. You know you're not going to freeze to death. You're in your backyard or at the beach by a fire pit. Why is that feeling so good? Why do you just stare into the fire and it just feels so good? Millions of years of evolution, millions of years of deep encoding that fire brought you safety, okay? It's wild. Why do people fear snakes? If an expert snake handler gives somebody a snake and goes, this snake is not going to bite you, this snake is not poisonous, even if it does bite you, it's nothing. Why do some people have a fear of that? Well, millions of years of encoding that snakes bring death and destruction and they're bad, okay? You just can't outrun your biology, so go within, eat some steak, and if all that fails, just start cooking bacon around them and they'll eventually cave. Brendan, how often should I shampoo or condition my hair? Well, I don't do it that often if I'm being real. Most days I'm just using water. I have a nice shower filter on my shower there, and my whole house water filter filters out a lot of the chlorine, and I just use water. I also get into the ocean, which actually is very cleansing. Now, occasionally I'll go to jiu-jitsu practice, let's say, and I'm rolling around and it's getting really sweaty, and I feel like I need some shampoo and conditioner. I like to use a natural shampoo and conditioner. Currently, I use organic Jaguar. That's what's in my bathroom right there. Okay, if you want to try that out, code Santa Cruz. He makes shampoo, he makes conditioner, amazing ingredients. They smell really good. What I don't want is to use something with Blue One, parabens, phthalates, artificial fragrances. We know that these compounds can be disrupting for our endocrine system and our immune function. And why would I want to put that onto my scalp? There's even been ingredients in shampoo that some people think, well, this would lead to hair loss. Very, very weird. Why would you want that? Overall, you don't need to use these products that often. If you just use water, a lot of the natural oils in your hair are going to bounce themselves out, and you'll actually have softer, more, luscious, vibrant hair. Brendan, have you ever considered making a community and having like the courses there, the coaching calls, all that? Well, here's the funny thing, guys. I don't need the money like that. I feel like a lot of people right now are making these communities because they want a bag. Oh, hey, buy my thing, subscribe to me. It's $40 a month. I'm going to teach you to be an alpha male. Fuck that, dude. That is ridiculous. That's just stupid, and I just feel like a lot of that shit is very, very scammy. Now, I do see the benefit of having a community. What I'm in talks with some people right now is doing one, but literally making it like $1 or $2, bro. So it's just like, because I don't think they allow you to do it like for free. There's like different things where, so it's like $1 or some shit. So like I would just never charge 40 or $50 a month for you guys to go in and talk amongst yourself about, health. Like I think there can be a value for that. Maybe I put my cookbooks in there. Maybe we give a bigger discount for Santa Cruz Paleo. But I'm never going to be one of these guys that says you have to join my community to get this info and stuff like that. No, I'm always just going to put this shit out for free. Obviously, we make money when we sell electrolytes and other products like that. So no, I could make tons of money. You get these emails from people being like, you could make 90 grand a month doing a paid community. That's cool, bro. I like money. I think that's cool. I'm not like hating on everybody that does that, but I'd rather make my money making people healthier, and I don't think charging somebody $40 a month for a community is going to help them. Maybe $1 or $2. I'll think about it. Let me know if you would want that or whatever. Brendan, what do you think the best kind of training is for an average person? Okay, just your average person. They're probably working a 9 to 5. They're busy. I understand, man. Like I've worked a 9 to 5 plenty of times in my life. I know what that schedule is like, and I know that what I do today is not viable if I still worked a 9 to 5. Today I surfed, and then I just did a bunch of work, and I'll probably have time to lift weights. There's no way I would be able to have that time back when I worked a 9 to 5. So what is viable? Lifting weights 4 times a week, pretty hard, and doing cardio 3 times a week, pretty hard. Every workout, you should still start with a walk. You should be getting your steps in every single day, but you should be able to go lift weights and do some cardio. The weekends, I would definitely try to throw in some type of sport or activity that you enjoy. Mountain biking, soccer, basketball, throwing the frisbee, surfing, kayaking, snowboarding, skiing, whatever it is. You need to find something where you're like, okay, here's where I get to use my body. That's really how you should train. Now, these workouts don't need to be long, dude. You can go into the gym, walk on the treadmill for 8 minutes, do a little backwards walking for 2 minutes, do some stretches, some banded warm-ups, and then you can rip weights for 30 to 40 minutes, and you're out of there, dude. That's really the way when you do that high-intensity weightlifting. You're in and out of there, man. Like, you're focused. You only need to pick 4, 5, 6 exercises and hit them hard, and you can be home, and you can get absolutely jacked doing that. For cardio, I like the assault bike. I like running. I like going hard. I like sprinting, okay? You don't need to be one of these people that does 7, 8 mile runs and all that shit. It's cool. There's definitely a place for that. But if you're limited on time, you might want to stick to the protocol that I just told you. Brendan, what are your thoughts on saltwater pools versus chlorine pools? So you've probably seen this pool in my backyard. It's chlorinated. Do I get in there that much? No, I really don't get in there that often. Do I think chlorinated pools are some really dangerous thing that you got to be so scared about? No, not really. Now, here's my caveat to that. If you are, let's say, swimming a lot and you love to swim, the benefits of swimming are going to outweigh any risks of chlorine. Now we get into these saltwater pools. The real thing with saltwater pools, guys, it's not just like ocean water in there, and it's not just salt and water. It is also chlorine. It's a form of chlorination, okay? So it's not like a saltwater pool is so much better than a chlorinated pool. There's little things you can do. This guy did this post about putting rose water and glycerin. You can just make that product on your own or look it up, Google rose water glycerin, and basically spraying himself all over. Sometimes he threw a little vitamin C in there, I believe, and he said that helps the reaction of the chlorine. That's pretty cool. It seems like a very cheap thing to do. Maybe spray it on your face and hair before you get in there, and just rinse off after you get into the pool. Personally, I get in the ocean, luckily, but yeah, you're going to be fine. Brendan, what is the most optimal mattress to get? So I've been researching this tons lately, and shout out to my fiance for diving deep into this because we are buying a new mattress right now. Now, the filling of many mattresses is purely polyester and plastic, and this is going to leach some of these VOCs and other bad chemicals when you're asleep. I think this is something that you actually should invest the money into dialing in. More than anything, you're spending 1/3 of your life on this mattress, okay? So you can look towards latex. There's organic latex, there's regular latex. A latex-filled mattress is going to be the way. There are also other natural mattresses, but this is something you should look into. I believe the brand Avocado has some natural mattresses. This is what you want, and you hopefully want to get a bed frame that's real wood. It's crazy that we have to worry about this stuff, guys, and I know it's like so overwhelming for people. They're like, oh my God, it's too much, it's too much. Let me just tell you something. None of this stuff, none of this bad stuff or bad for our health stuff existed 50 years ago. It wasn't around. Everything was made from real wood, and the mattresses were made from natural fibers that didn't have these negative health effects. It's only recently that this stuff has come up in the grand scheme of human history. So you can look at it as too much, but pay attention to your health and dial that in. Brendan, you finally released Santa Cruz merch. Now, I should be wearing one right now, but yeah, we have SantaCruzMerch.com. We're selling cotton t-shirts with the Santa Cruz Medicinals logo on there in army green, in that kind of like sandstone color, and in black. And we're selling them for $17. Not trying to make money on the t-shirts, so they're $17 for a cotton t-shirt, really high quality, and you can get them right now. So go to SantaCruzMerch.com, or there's like a section on the Santa Cruz Paleo website where you'll see that, but same thing, and go get a t-shirt and send me a photo of you wearing it, and I'll definitely see it on IG. So I appreciate you guys so much. Let's rock. Leave your questions below for next week's AMA, and stay tuned for some amazing products we have. We restocked the strawberry whey, we restocked the vanilla whey, the chocolate whey, the beef isolate horchata and chocolate are back in stock right now. There's many electrolyte flavors. It's hot out there. Please replenish as you're out there working out. Hopefully you're working out in this heat, getting after it. So that's it for this week's AMA. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'm going to film the lock-in episode. All these influencers get here soon, so stay tuned for that. Let's go. Stay healthy.